It was his obsession to play the song.
Why did you do it?
I'm not sure you'd understand.
Edison says he's months away from lighting up the world.
Automation, transportation, communication. The man that controls that current controls that future.
You're watching Rogers TV, St. John's.
Welcome back to Out of the Fog. I'm Melissa Royal-Critch. As promised, here is a look behind the scenes on City TV's Hudson and Rex. Donovan points out Major Crimes Detective Charlie Hudson has trained his dog Rex to sniff out the phony bills based on smell alone. It was this that led investigators to the warehouse in the first place, making it clear that criminals looking to set up shop in St. John's are barking up the wrong tree. I'm here with John Reardon, a Detective Charlie Hudson on Hudson and Rex. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So it was my first day on a set like this, and I gotta say, I was blown away by how nice and welcoming and patient for me the whole cast and crew were. You've been obviously on set a fair amount, being the lead in the show, and you've worked on sets, all over Canada and the US. What is it that makes the people here on this show special?
Well, I think there's a real community spirit here with everyone on set. Everybody wants to help everyone to be able to do their job the best that they can, and so there's a lot of support. We deal with a lot of difficult challenges in the shooting in the winter here, and so we all kind of band together to make life easier for each other. And I don't know. I think it's just the Newfoundland people in general tend to be very family-oriented and kind and generous with their time. So it's we're very lucky. We have a great group.
You do. And it's interesting, you're not really the first actor from away to come here and make this your second home and really embrace the place. I mean, we have Jason Momoa and Russell Crowe and now you. I think it's interesting that we have these actors who come and then come back and keep giving back to the province. Do you think, down the road you'll still be visiting Newfoundland and Labrador?
Well, first of all, I love that there was a list of 3 of us, and I'm with Russell Crowe and Jason Momoa. That's
absolutely.
I'll take that compliment. That's amazing. But absolutely, I'm from Nova Scotia originally. I'm a Haligonian, and I love the East Coast. And so this is kind of like, it feels like a homecoming for me in a lot of ways, because I went to theater school in Ireland, but I've lived on the West Coast for probably the last 15 years. So being back here really feels I feel there's a similarity between Dublin, where I spent a lot of years, and a huge similarity with Halifax, where I grew up. And it's just a similar culture. People are the same, and people don't take things too seriously, which I really love.
True. And of course, this show is not just about the people, it's about the dog. Yeah. And I got to meet Diesel around here, and I'm a little afraid of dogs, but I'm working on it. You clearly not afraid of dogs. Have you always been a dog lover? I have, actually. I've grown up with dogs my whole life, but I'm just an animal lover in general. I also love cats as well. And but I was really excited when I found out that I was going to be working so much with Diesel, and he's just a fabulous animal. He's incredibly intelligent, and just a very gentle dog. Like when I was learning to work with him at the beginning, Sherry Davis, his trainer, who's just fabulous, she kind of helped us to bond, and I really realized quickly that he really responds to just kindness and people being gentle with him and stuff like that, and so it's been a really cool experience so far. And I noticed that they have a stand-in dog. It's a stuffed dog. It's actually over our shoulder here. Do you ever do rehearsals and stare into the eyes of this stuffed dog? Well, we actually do it sometimes when we're shooting. One of my very first scenes that we shot last year in our first episode, Diesel is supposed to be upset, and I'm supposed to calm him down. And in the wide shot, I do that with Diesel, but then in a close, we're so tight that we can't really have Diesel in. So it's
we had the stuffed dog, and the director was shaking it, and I was pretending to, calm down the stuffed dog with a straight face. So that does happen quite a bit.
And you say you're not on the same level as Jason Momoa and Russell Crowe. I think that tops it.
Well, I'd be curious if they've ever wrestled a stuffed dog before, but yeah, sometimes you gotta use the imagination, I suppose.
And of course, Hudson and Rex kind of was based on a European show, an Australian show, Inspector Rex. Did you ever watch that show to get inspiration, or do you try to put your own spin on it?
I have subsequently. When we first started, it was very quick. Everything happened very quick, and I think when I had found out about the job, it was 3 days until we went to camera. So because of that, I kind of decided that I wasn't going to watch, because I really wanted to have the idea of what I thought this version was going to be. And I think our show is a little bit different in a few ways. And but since after probably halfway through first season last year, I started to watch a little bit of it, because I think it's important to know where the show is coming from, and we already have a built-in fan base, and also want to honor their memory of the show as well.
Yeah, speaking of the fan base, earlier you mentioned that Newfoundland and Labrador has kind of a family-friendly culture, and I think that's one of the things that really comes through in the show. Sometimes I think there's not enough kind of shows that you can watch with your whole family now, and everybody can enjoy it. And I know your huge audience on this show ranges in ages, and how do you keep that in mind in the show, and do you think that leads to the show's great success?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think everybody can relate to the love of a pet, and because of that, I think we have a huge audience of people who would want to see the show. So by not having it be too violent, I think on one level it appeals to a younger audience, but then we also have genuine conflict in the show. It's not like, there are real crimes that are being solved, and sometimes they're darker than other times, and I think we're dealing with real content. So I think it can appeal to a wide range of people, and then obviously the relationship with the dog, I think, is really just universal across the globe, really.
Talk to me. Okay, say.
I'm here with Kevin Hanchard, who plays Superintendent Joe Donovan on Hudson and Rex. Welcome to our show.
Thanks for having me.
So I'm here on the set of your show, filming for our show, and playing my little part today. I got to know so many people on this set, and how incredible the crew is.
Right.
What is it like to come and work with these amazing people every day?
It's an absolute pleasure. I mean, I'm a long way from home, living in Toronto, but everyone here has, to a man, welcomed me as if I was a part of the family, and we've become a big family for all intents and purposes. It's a great place to be.
And you're originally from Ontario.
Mm-hmm.
Had you been in Newfoundland or spent much time here before this show started?
Yeah, I was lucky enough to come out here a few years ago and shoot an episode of The Republic of Doyle, and had a bunch of time off when I did that, so I was able to explore and see St. John's and Signal Hill and the rooms and all the different sights and sounds and tastes and restaurants and stuff that are in and around the area, and I fell in love with it. And when this opportunity came up, I jumped at it to come back, and my wife and kids actually came here through the summer. And they fell in love with it as well, and I was so excited because we drove up and down the coast and saw whales and all kinds of great stuff. There's a lot to see and do here.
Oh, fun. And you have a lot of television experience, obviously, and you've been on Orphan Black and lots of other big shows. Hudson and Rex has really captured the audience. It brings families together to watch this show. What's the feedback you hear about this show, and what do you think makes it so special?
I just think in this era of sort of gritty and shocking TV, it's something that's a little bit more wholesome. You can sit down with your kids of whatever age, from 4 to 24, or and then the adults from 24 to 104, and just sort of enjoy it. It's about a brilliant dog and a good-looking guy and the rest of us.
The good-looking guy is you, obviously, right?
The good-looking guy is me, and then there's Johnny, right? So I think people enjoy that because it's a crime of the week kind of show, but we don't get too heavy. Every once in a while, we like to get into some topical issues just to keep people thinking. But for the most part, we're good, wholesome television, and people like that.
No, you definitely keep it fresh. And I know this episode had some counterfeit money and the dog sniffing out the money. What's it like working with a dog every day?
It's great. They say in the business never work with kids and animals because no one hears what you say. But Diesel is fantastic. He's ultra professional.
Not a diva?
Not a diva. He hits his marks. He knows his lines all the time. But he's a great dog. And for someone who's a dog lover but doesn't have the fortune of owning a dog, doesn't have the good fortune of owning a dog, he's a great fill-in for me. So I feel like a bit of a dog owner having him around.
Does the dog ever forget his lines at all? Or never?
Never. He has never forgotten a line. He's always really, really good. And Sherry and Victoria, the dog trainers, are so wonderful with him. It's a great thing.
And you don't forget your lines either. I was actually impressed. We were in the hair and makeup room together. I have, 3 or 4 lines, and I'm reading them and trying to make sure I remember them. You have a lot more lines than that, and you're cool as a cucumber, just chatting away. So what's your secret? How do you know all the lines and get them all ready in advance?
It's years of theater training, darling. It's years and years of theater. No, it's movie magic, right? I mean, that's the job. You learn your lines, you show up, you hit the mark. I think Tom Hanks was on the Golden Globes a couple weeks ago, and he said that's the job, right? Is to show up on time and hit your mark and be ready to work. And if you don't do that, then you lose the gift.
And you also actually seem to lift the spirits up and entertain people around on the set too. So I like that about you.
Oh, well, I try. It's, we spend a lot of time here together, and the days can be long, and you need that every once in a while just to make everyone feel at home and feel comfortable and to break the tension. So if that's me every now and then so be it.
Unlike the Mankiewicz situation, this appears to be the work of foreign influence. We're working closely with CSIS and Interpol to find these culprits, and we will drive them out. Organized crime has no place in our city.
I'm here with Justin Kelly, who plays Jesse Mills on Hudson and Rex. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Your character, of course, is the IT specialist. You're cracking the codes. You're back in the office, figuring out the crimes from behind the scenes, but obviously on the screen. Mm-hmm. Are you a techie in real life?
I mean, I know my way around a computer more or less, but not nearly as like Jesse, when he needs to figure something out, he's a few clicks away and he's got it. So it's sort of. There's certain things I do know, but there's a good amount of faking involved.
Do you think Jesse would be good at the TikTok and the Instagram?
Yeah, I just figured out what TikTok was. I didn't know what that was for the longest time. But I think he would be all over that for sure. Yeah, he would be making his own TikTok videos around St. John's.
I think so. Speaking of St. John's, you're come from away, as we like to say. You're from Toronto here in Newfoundland shooting this show. Mm-hmm. How's your experience in the province been so far?
It's been amazing. I mean, I had never been here before we started shooting, and next thing I knew, I was kind of spending 60% of my time out of the year here, and it's been incredible. I love the people. I love. I'm an East Coast guy at heart, even though I'm from Toronto. I love it out here, and so it's, a lot of parts of it. I'm a huge music guy, so the music scene here has been really enjoyable as well. And
do you play any instruments or?
I do. I play guitar mostly. Trying to noodle around on the piano and learn that. But yeah, it's just fun going to these kitchen parties or these pubs and seeing people play music. It's great.
And of course, the cast and crew here have just been incredible to me today, and I understand they're always
awful
just so
people.
Nice.
They're so terrible.
They're faking for me.
They're faking it. No, this is this is one of the best crews I've ever worked with. We work long hours, and we're at this quite a bit. So I can't picture a better crew to do that with. To spend all this time, these long hours working with. So.
I'm here with Sherry Davis, the dog master on Hudson and Rex. Welcome to our show.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Now, I got to be honest with you. I'm doing good here now, but I'm a little timid around dogs. I'm working on it. So if you were to give me a little tip, what's the best way to pet a dog and try to ease myself a little bit here?
So for people who are really nervous, dogs will pick up on that. So what I'll say is start with, from behind and just have the owner talk to the dog, and then you touch it back here. And then once you're comfortable, let the dog smell the back of your hand, and then turn your hand over and then start to pet them. So always allow the dog to come into you.
Oh, that's great. Now, of course, you're, I'm scared when Diesel looks at me. You've been working with Diesel for a long time. Tell us about your history in the training that Diesel underwent in order to become a TV star.
His training is pretty intense. We're doing we train 7 days a week. Right now, because we're shooting, we shoot 5 days a week and we prep 2 days a week. And our average day when we're prepping is 8 to 10 hours. And then our average set day is 12 to 14.
And I understand Diesel gets treated like a proper TV star that he is on the set. And so what's a day like for him when he comes in? What's he treated to?
So first thing when he wakes up, he gets his good run, and then he gets a nice hot meal made for him, and then he gets chauffeured to set, and he's got a trailer with like big blankets and nice classical music playing.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and then he goes to the spa every week because we got to keep him looking consistent. So he goes and gets a spa treatment every weekend when he's off, which is amazing. And then we go to set, of course, and he gets home cooked. So we have chicken breasts, and then we do a roast of beef for him, and then he has some special treats that he likes on top of that. But so he's got a chef, a chauffeur, a spa treatment. He's got it all.
That's quite the life. But now Diesel certainly earns all that, works pretty hard. What are some of the harder, I guess, commands or tricks that Diesel has to do in the course of the show?
You know, one of the harder things to teach a dog is to make it look like it's somebody else's dog, right? So training him to really pay attention to John, but still look off camera to me to get the cues on what he's supposed to be doing. That was one of the harder things to teach him. And to teach him to actually go with John off leash and not like run back to me and do that kind of stuff.
Dogs are very faithful.
Yeah. So it's very hard. You know, your dog is very loyal, so it's very hard when you're asking that dog to kind of ignore you. And it's so funny because the dog's just kind of like doing one of these. Oh yeah, okay, I'm supposed to bark at him now. Oh gosh, I'm supposed to give him a foot now. And he's got to kind of like peek at me and then look back to John. And yeah, so it's kind of cool.
And I've seen you in action. Diesel certainly knows a lot of different commands and can, go where you ask him to go. How does that work then for television? Do they edit out your commands, or do they tape around them?
Yeah, so usually what we do is I try not to step on the actor's lines. So when I'm telling him what to do, I tell him in between the actor's lines. So even though we rehearse it, if I have to get an eye line or have him exit or something like that, I'll have them do it after a line is delivered. So then they can take my line out. It does not always happen that way. Trust me.
Well, that's tricky.
It's hard. It's all about finesse and timing. Because seriously, you have to do it while the actors are taking a breath. And then I got to tell them, get your foot up there and speak. So yeah, it's fun.
Is it kind of more difficult outside or inside? Is there anything that when you get the scripts at the beginning of the week, you think, oh no, that's hard, or oh yes, that's great?
Yeah, your exterior shots are always going to be a little harder, especially because you have, cats and dogs and cars and joggers, and there's a lot more distraction outside that we really can't control. I remember the one day we were shooting and we had a bird who decided it was going to taunt him a little bit. Yeah, and I'm trying to keep an eye line, but he's like, oh, I'm going to get you. Yeah, I kept swoom. And so, outside is a lot harder to control the environment.
And of course, I think people are pretty familiar with the concept of stunt doubles in acting. We have actors and we have stunt doubles who do kind of the trickier things. Is there a stunt double for Diesel?
Yes, he has two.
No way.
Yeah, so his nephews are actually his stunt double. Yes.
He must be very proud.
Yeah, I'm proud. I'm proud of all my boys. But yeah, so anything where there's a possibility of a high-risk injury, we'll use one of his stunt doubles. Mm-hmm.
And I also noticed there's kind of a stand-in dog, a stuffed dog around. I came down over the stairs and saw it, and I kind of thought it was the dog at first, and because it's pretty lifelike. Is it kind of? Does Diesel ever interact with the stuffed dog? Is there any kind of relationship there? Does it freak her out or him out?
It's funny because when we first came by, he was like, whoa, who are you on set? But now he knows that I call him Cujo. So it's like, get Cujo. But what that dog does, it allows the cameras and our DOP to set the lights and the cameras and everything to a stuffy dog so that it's not as exhausting on him.
And last question for you is, Diesel's obviously a very special dog. Everyone thinks their own dog is special. But what is it really that trainers or television crews are looking for when they look for, an animal to perform at such a high level?
It's really funny. I think every dog has the potential, but I don't go to work every day because I love what I do. I'm very blessed. And if he didn't love what he did, then I wouldn't make him do it. I would retire him. So, I think the dog has to want to do it. They have to love to do it. You don't want to force them to do anything, right? So, I guess that's what makes them kind of special, that all the dogs love to work, they love to perform, and I'm really lucky because of that. But in all honesty, it's what they want to do. It's, and as for production, they might say they want, I don't know, Rex to be solid black, and then they see him and they go, oh, no, we like the looks of that. Or so for production, for them, a lot of times it could just be the look that they're looking for. And then it's up to me to try and get the look and the personality and the training and the ABCs to make that look work. And with him, it was a total fluke because I had just gotten him, and somebody was there from the show, and they turned around and they were like, "That's the dog," and I was like, "Oh no, I've just gotten him. He doesn't know anything," and and that's how he became Rex.
Well, you formed a great partnership that is certainly valued to the casting crew, but also to the legions of viewers who love the show. So thanks for making time today to chat with us.
Thank you.
I'm here with Rajani Rajasingham from Rogers, who's here on a big day on set. Welcome to our show.
Thanks. Great to be here.
So like I said, it's a big day on set here for Hudson and Rex. You've won a contest to come and actually appear on the show. So tell us, how did that come about?
So it was a internal program contest on Yammer, and you had to write in and say what your favourite episode was. And so my German Shepherd and I, Zeke, liked to watch the show. And then it was a random draw.
What was your favourite episode?
My favourite episode was the episode when they were teaching Rex to go through some tunnels above I think it was like an air conditioning vent, and Hudson was teaching him to crawl in between his legs. It was really cool.
That's awesome. And so what do you actually do for Rogers?
I'm a solutions consultant for Data Centre and Cloud in Vancouver.
In Vancouver, so it's a long way to come.
It was, yeah. I got up at 7 o'clock this morning. Oh, actually, no, yesterday. And got in at midnight last night.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So what's your impressions of Newfoundland so far?
I love it. It's phenomenal. Everyone's super friendly. The weather is nice because I haven't seen snow all season, so it's been great. Yeah, no.
You can tell you haven't spent too much time here if you're grateful to see the snow.
No, I think everyone else is over it, but yeah, we don't have snow in Vancouver, so it's been good to see it.
Nice. And was this your first time on a television set?
Yes, it is, yeah, and it was great. I love it.
What were your first impressions? How are you feeling getting into it?
I feel good. I'm stunned at the efficiency and just the number of people and what it takes to actually put a show together.
Me too.
Yeah, that was great.
Fun. So are you looking forward to watching your show? Or are you going to have a little watch party at home?
I am. I'm going to have a viewing party. Actually, when we leave here, I'm going to send out an Evite and bring my dog as well, so the dog can watch as well, so we can make it a family affair.
That's wonderful. Well, thanks so much for joining us here, and thanks for coming on behalf of Rogers on Hudson and Rex.
Anytime. Hey.
All right, girls.
Mom, you said it's played again.
Workplace injuries hurt the most at home.
At St. John Ambulance, we're all about community. We teach life-saving skills and provide community support through our volunteer services. All St. John Ambulance product sales and training registrations support these important services. Volunteer, donate, or enroll in a program today so we can continue to have an impact on our community. Visit sja.ca to learn more. At St. John Ambulance, we do more than save lives, we change lives.
Did you do it?
Thanks for watching Out of the Fog. And it was a very special episode showing behind the scenes on Hudson and Rex on City TV. I had such a great day on set with Hudson and Rex. The crew were friendly and sweet and really fun, even though it was my first time being on such a big production. I'm really a little terrified, but looking forward to seeing the episode air on City TV of Hudson and Rex, so keep an eye out for that. I play a reporter, bit of a stretch, but hopefully it went okay. Anyway, thanks again to the crew and the cast of Hudson and Rex for such a wonderful day and for making such a great show. So we'll see you next time on Out of the Fog.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
Oh, here we go.
I'm knocking at the door. I'm
definitely going to be the last one standing.
This is mine.
Bring it on. I'm ready to go. Go.
Not ready for this to be over. This is the most perfect dish.
You represent the best culinary talent in the country.
May the best chef win.
Top Chef Canada. New season Monday, April 13th on Food Network.
You know the story. When the RCAF said Mach 2 fighter, 2-place 1,000-mile range, the British said it was impossible. The Yanks tried twice and failed. They said, you're dreaming. We said, fine, we'll build it right here in Toronto. And now you guys, my guys, are saying that it can't be done, that they were right?
Now, that's the rocket that we used to get the model up to speed, and then the onboard sensors tell us that...
Come on, baby.
Damn it! But we did it according to your specs. The specs have changed.
We did it.
Arrow 201. You cleared for takeoff.
Although the government canceled the project and destroyed the prototypes, the Avro Arrow remains for Canada a world benchmark in aerospace achievement.
This is Rogers TV.
What's up?
Human.
Hi, Samantha.
Hi, Jason.
How you
we
doing?
kind of like each other right now because we haven't seen each other in a while.
It's been such a long time.
Too long.
So obviously Sam and I aren't in the studio today.